Might wonder what unifies the LOC. Well, there's going to be no acting this year, just talking. Didn't really have time to prepare a proper video that I thought was worthy of commission intro. So this is just where I will talk about our league. We are global number one. We got five countries represented in this league. Of course, myself as Canadian, many other Canadians, lots of Americans, and we have people from England, we have people from Serbia, and we have people from Germany. And honestly, I would love to see those numbers get up even more. So for some of you people overseas or even some of our North American friends, if you know some people maybe in South America, maybe more in Europe, I'm always open to getting some new referrals in, especially international referrals. Next, well, what keeps us unified? Well, how about the weekly recaps, everybody? For anyone that was around last year, the weekly recaps were added, and what a difference it made, right? I mean, to wake up every morning after football week is over and to go over the recap of every single league in the format of what happened, it really does unify the tiers. And I do think it unifies also the dynasties. So of course, we added the new dynasty this year, so we are now five leagues in the LOC format. And this year, once again, those weekly recaps will be featured, adding the new dynasty as well. Last but not least, we are the LOC family. It was funny. This league was once criticized for being a family league. It is a family league. We got wives in here. We got brothers in here. We might even have some sisters in here. Well, so we got a sister-in-law. So yeah, we are family. And honestly, for the teams that have been around a long time, I just want to say thank you. A lot of you have stuck up for me in a lot of scenarios where, I it felt like, is this really worth going on? And lots of shout outs to people like Dushan, Danny, Ryan. I could think of many more, but those are a few that I just think about that were there in certain situations when I really needed another voice, and you were there. So I just want to say thank you to this LOC family for sticking by my side. And really, it's you that makes this the best fantasy league out there. Thank you.
A few moments later.
Hey, everyone, guess is back. It's the commish back here with another draft preview. And this time we're going to be looking at Finn and Finito, a guy that pretty much kind of went all in last year. And I was happy to see it. Again, in the past, the international division was always a bit conservative, but obviously, Dushan won the title and you won the bronze medal. And the only way I feel you can win in this league is if you go all in, because there's going to be one or two or three teams that are going to be doing the same. And if you're not one of them and you're a contender, well, you're just not going to be in there at the end. So it's that simple. So you're obviously super close last year, and let's see how it's going to look for you this year. So I'm just going to share my screen, and we'll get right into it. All right, there it is, Finn and Finito. I love the like Terminator One font here for your logo here. I thought that's pretty cool. All right, so looking at the keepers here, yeah, I mean Jackson Dart, I think, is the next white hope at quarterback. And let's face it, he's in the right market, the big market, right? So of course, the big markets are the ones that always succeed in the NFL. We all know this, and unless you're, a special player like Mahomes or whatever, but I think Jackson Dart found the right landing spot. For you and for his success and for fantasy. So I think the Giants are only going to get better. The hope obviously is there's nothing wrong with Neighbors, because that would hurt Dart late early on if for whatever reason Neighbors isn't available. But let's face it, you could have a quarterback keeper here for the next decade, which I think is huge for you. And then running back, Devin Chain, the offense is going to run through this guy in Miami. I know a lot of experts are down on him this year for obvious reasons, right? They're going to be stacking the box. There's no reason to even have a DB with Malik Willis as quarterback, in my opinion. The guy's awful. And apparently in the offseason program, he was awful too, which is going to put a lot of pressure on A Chain or A Chan or however the hell you say his name. So, I still think he's going to get his touches, though. He's still going to get the volume. The only problem with Miami might be they're down 35 nothing at halftime, and obviously Ollie Gordon's running the rock in the second half. So just something to be aware of, obviously. I have him in Dynasty too, so obviously I want him to succeed as well. But I still think he's going to put up his numbers, maybe not quite as much as before, just because of the dreadful quarterback play. Javonte Williams got the big money, right? He got the money. He had a great year. They took a 1 year shot on him. It paid off. It seems like he's officially fully recovered from the injuries. And let's face it, those injuries are what was holding him back. It takes a while to recover from these injuries, right? I don't care if you're superhuman like these NFL players. It still takes time for the body to recover, even with the best medical professionals in the world working on these guys. There's still going to be complications, but Javonte Williams has a firm hold on the RB1 job after he got paid. And the only way I could see him not producing for you on this electric offense with Dallas that should put up a lot of points is if he gets hurt. So let's face it, between Devin Achane and Williams, it's a contrast, right? Achane's going to face so many eight-man boxes. Williams not as much because Dak's going to be throwing, right? So totally different running backs there. Wide receiver Puka Nakua just got out of rehab. That's got to be a concern. But he is on the Rams, who I think is clearly winning the Super Bowl this year. The only way they don't is if obviously everybody bets on the Rams, and then Vegas will obviously put someone else in as champion. But Puka Nakua is still going to put up his numbers. But if he hits the pipe again, or he does get hurt, I mean, I saw the guy bleeding out of his eye sockets the 1 year. I can see why he's on the substances, right? Like when you get hit that hard, you probably have some level of pain or something going on in the brain, right? But anyways, Nakua should put up huge numbers for you again. And Tucker Kraft, a lot of people are comparing this guy to like Brock Bowers tier at tight end. I don't know if he's quite there. Again, he's recovering from a major injury, so I think we have to temper expectations, but I think he will get a lot of volume in Green Bay. We just have to see if it'll be early on or as his body starts to recover. And then at IDP, you're going Edgerrin Cooper for Green Bay, a guy that you're obviously hoping puts up a fair amount of tackles in that Green Bay defense. When I look at the rest of your team of guys you probably potentially could have kept, I mean, Christian Watson is one, Jaden Higgins is another. Those are two guys, good guys going back in the draft. Would I replace anyone you have? Probably not. And then looking at IDP, yeah, I mean you're going with the right people. So IDP, yeah, I mean you could look to improve there, or maybe you just roll with Edgerrin Cooper and find good IDPs in the draft. All right, so I touched on it at the beginning of the year. So third place finish last year, 14-0 record, the perfect season, got crushed in the semifinals to the eventual champion Dushan and Sabatica Spartans. So I guess the bright side for you is you can say, well, at least you lost to the champion, but your team completely underwhelmed in the semifinals. I know my brother and I were discussing how you could have got Stafford off him. I don't know if he would have made a difference in the semis. Probably not, because I think he did put up a pretty poor performance there. But the 14-0 record brought your career record from 12-16, which was quite mediocre through 2 years, to now 26-16. So a hell of a record. You've turned this team around quickly. And for you new owners, if you're watching any of these previews, Finnito was able to get right near the top there in a perfect season almost in his third year of existence in Tier 1. So don't tell me it can't be done. You just got to do the right things, be active, and make the right trades. All right, so this is where things get interesting for you. I do like the fact that you were able to get some picks back. I think it was from trading ETN here in the offseason. And if you could find another trade partner, I think that would be huge. It's going to be tough now, though, being so close to the draft. But you can see you have no 1, no 4, no 5, no 9. But you do make that up by doubling up in the second and third round. So putting you at 8 picks in the first 10, I don't think that's, necessarily all that bad. I think you can still compete with 8 in the first 10, especially if you have high quality keepers, which you do. So yeah, I think, again, you could prepare quite well. I mean, if you can get four offensive players in rounds 2 and 3, which is likely the route you're going to go, you're filling up most of the offense at that stage, right? I think you'd have one flex left to go. So, again, it's not a travesty or a completely bad scenario. Round 6 is when IDPs start going, so you could focus on IDPs with everybody else, or you continue to round out the offense. And obviously, you're just going to have to see how the draft pans out to determine what direction you're going to take. Looking at rounds 11 to 20, I think you're in great shape here. You got 10 and 10 with a double up in round 14. So it's not like you sacrificed your mid rounds like other teams did, like No More and Deuce Bombers, where their mid rounds are completely destroyed from going all in. For you, different story. And obviously, you're looking to make an impact by still filling up the depth in the IDPs there. And then going into round 21 and 29, well, of course, you're going to have a few extra picks in this round, 11 in total. But I think you're still in pretty good shape to get things done. And, again, yeah, you got some late picks there, but those are usually flyers, anyways. And you've proven that you know your football. So, I have no concerns about you being able to get through this type of challenge with the lack of capital compared to maybe, well, not so much other teams in your division, but, at least in terms of having a balanced pick situation like Too Good has, or Clengy obviously has a better draft pick scenario. First pick, well, of course, you're picking in the second round, so I see you going best available here. Sleeper ADP has you getting a guy like Michael Pittman, Aaron Jones, Stephon Diggs, Tyler Algier, or even Kenyon Sadiq, the rookie tight end. And, at that stage, you'll have to decide what you're going to do. I mean, if you could bag a depth running back like Jones or Algier, I think that would be a huge win. Even Michael Pittman, a new team. Hopefully, he gets along with Rodgers because that'll determine his first year success. But even Stephon Diggs in the right landing spot, like maybe it's Washington, the guy might put up some decent numbers there with a healthy Jaden Daniels at quarterback. So I think you do still have some options there, even though you're not picking until round 2. Looking at the barometer chart, potential storylines here. Bottom 4, I could see that happening if Giovanni Williams gets hurt. Dart had the sophomore slump like a lot of quarterbacks do and players. And Devin A-Chain can't do anything because Willis sucks, which is very possible. But to finish bottom 4, I think would be a bit of a stretch considering there's teams with some pretty awful draft pick scenarios. Consolation contender, I could see this being a likely scenario if you just draft poorly, your players get hurt, and you experience those injuries that all of us are susceptible to, especially when we don't have the opportunity to build up our bench like all the good draft capital teams do to handle some of those injuries. I can see you being a playoff team. I think it's possible again. I really do. I think you'd be a last wild card team if you do make it. You got a nice balanced roster. Again, maybe a few calculated buy-in moves would get you there, and you just have to determine if it's worth it or you just kind of reset for the next year. Division title, the biggest competitors for the crown, the favorites in the division, I think are too good for a name in Clengy. Those are the teams to beat this year in the international, in my opinion. And then I could see you being champion. I'm sure you probably thought you were going to be champion last year, especially when you go 14-0. But if you go all in, A-Chain's still really effective, and Dart is the true next white hope at quarterback in the big market of New York. Anything is possible, and you very well could be champion. All right, Finn. Well, I hope you enjoyed your preview here for 2026. We're going to be getting kicked off here fairly soon, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck in the draft. See you then, August 2nd.